Good afternoon. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee for today, May 16th. I've been joined by a quorum of the committee, including council members Warsami, Fry, Quincy, and Cano. We have a lengthy agenda. I'll first start by moving the consent agenda, which are items 14 through 19. They include the regular liquor, business, and gambling license applications for May 16th, as well as business license operating conditions for the business known as Mason's Mansion in Uptown, authorizing submittal of a state grant, as well as a partnership with Midwest Urban Strategies for the labor reentry program. Item 18 is a project analysis authorization for the condos on Blaisdell. This is an additional HIA resolution. And item number 19 is an application to the Met Council for Bassett Creek Valley. Are there any items anyone would like to pull, items 14 through 19? Seeing none, I'll move the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That item is approved. We've been joined by Councilmember Reich. We have 13 public hearings on our agenda this morning, starting with item number 1. Mr. Ramadan, welcome.
Madam Chair, council members, it's good to see you again. We start with the land sale at 3631 Colfax Avenue North. This is a sale through the vacant housing recycling program, now called Minneapolis Homes, for policies, a program established by the City Council on December 11, 2015. Staff recommends sale of 3631 Colfax to Northside Homes LLC for its appraised value of $20,000, subject to conditions. The staff marketed this home to its current list of City Council approved HOW developers. The staff recommends Northside Home LLC as the purchaser. Notification was sent to the McKinley Neighborhood Association. 3631 Colfax was acquired on December 29, 2016 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $1. It was constructed in 1915 and is a 1,482 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home. The applicant intends to rehabilitate it as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home and sell exclusively to an owner-occupant who meets the 80% household median income. And the applicant proposes to invest $255,357 to rehabilitate the property. Our CPAC construction management staff reviewed the scope of work and estimates submitted and believe that they are sufficient to meet the minimum rehabilitation standards for the program. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 1? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 1, which is a land sale, 3631 Colfax Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of item number 1.
Item 1 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. On to item number 2. Mr. Ramadan.
Thank you again, Madam Chair, council members. 3823 Bryant Avenue North. This is a sale recommended to the City of Lakes Community Land Trust for an appraised value of $60,000, subject to conditions. The staff also marketed this property to its HOW approved developers, and the staff recommends Community Land Trust as the purchaser. Notification was sent to the Weber Camden neighborhood. 3823 Bryant was acquired on December 29th, 2016 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $60,000. It was constructed in 1922 and is a 2,129 square foot, 4-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home. And the applicant intends to rehabilitate it as a 3-bedroom. One of the bedrooms was not a legal bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home, and to sell exclusively to an owner-occupant who meets the 80% household area median income. The applicant proposes to invest $235,000 to rehabilitate the property, and our construction management staff reviewed and found it met all the program criteria. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 2? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 2, which is a land sale at 3823 Bryant Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of the land sale for item number 2.
Item number 2 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. On to item number 3, Mr. Ramadan.
Madam Chair, council members, 3542 Lindale Avenue North. This was Staff recommending the sale of 3542 Lindale to PRG Incorporated for its appraised value of $20,000, subject to conditions. The staff again marketed this to our How approved nonprofit developers. The notification was sent to the McKinley Neighborhood Association. 3542 was acquired on December 29, 2016 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $1. It was constructed in 1917 and is a 2,208 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home. The applicant intends to rehabilitate it as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home and to sell it exclusively to owner and occupant who meets the 80% household area median income. The applicant proposes to invest $195,000 to rehabilitate the property, and our construction management staff found that it met all the program criteria. And are there any questions on this one?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 3? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 3, which is a land sale at 3542 Lindale Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of this item.
Approval has been moved of item number 3. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 4. Mr. Ramadan.
Madam Chair, council members, 2335 Upton Avenue North. The staff recommends the sale of 2335 Upton Avenue North to Salem Inc. for its appraised value of $30,000, subject to conditions. This house was marketed for over 6 months without receiving any offers to purchase through its listserv of over 1,200 people. We finally received an offer from Salem Inc. just recently, and the staff is recommending them as the purchaser. Notification was provided to the Northside Residents Redevelopment Council. 2335 Upton Avenue North was acquired on June 22nd, 2016 from Hennepin County as a tax forfeited land for $1. It was constructed in 1916 and is a 1,903 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home. The applicant intends to to rehabilitate as a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home and to sell exclusively to an owner-occupant. The applicant proposes to invest $104,408 to rehabilitate the property. CPED's construction management staff reviewed it and found that it met all the program standards for the vacant housing recycling program. And are there any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 4? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 4, which is a land sale at 2335 Upton Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will move approval.
Approval of item number 4 has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. On to item number 5, Mr. Ramadan.
Madam Chair, council members, 1916 Newton Avenue North. Staff recommends the sale of 1916 Newton Avenue North to Salem Inc. for its appraised value of $38,000, subject to conditions. Again, we marketed this property for over 10 months. We did receive an offer early on in that process, but none in the last 10 months or so. Staff recommends them as the purchaser. The notification was provided again to the Northside Residents Redevelopment Council. 916 Newton was acquired on November 20th, 2015 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $1. It was constructed in 1926 and is a 2,520 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home. The applicant intends to rehabilitate it as a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, single-family home and to sell exclusively to an owner-occupant. They propose to invest $118,905 into that rehabilitation, and the CPED construction management staff found that it did meet the minimum requirements for the vacant housing recycling program. Are there any questions on this one?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 5? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on this item, which is a land sale at 916 Newton Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of this item.
Item number 5 has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 6. Mr. Ramadan. Does anyone else work over there?
We have a lot of great people over there.
I'm kidding.
Most of
Obviously,
them are here in
they're
the
all
room with us
sitting here.
today, yes.
Right, yeah, exactly. You have a lot of land
Remember
sales
that I
today.
said that, guys. 1715 Oliver Avenue North, the sale through the vacant housing recycling program to PRG Incorporated for the appraised value of $32,000, subject conditions. Staff marketed this property. We actually did have a sale and approval back in the fall. The people were unable to go through it, that they had a little bit overwhelmed when they had another property they were working on at the same time. So so they had to return it to the city. Notification was again provided to the Northside Residents Redevelopment Council. As we know, we originally acquired this property on October 23rd, 2015 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $1. It was constructed in 1922, and this is a 2,907 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home. The applicant intends to rehabilitate it as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home and to sell exclusively to an owner-occupant under the HOW program, which requires it to be under 80% area median income. The applicant proposes to invest $250,000 to rehabilitate the property. And again, CPAD's construction management staff reviewed it and found it met all our program criteria. Are there any questions on 1715 Oliver?
Are there any questions? Have you seen this house? It's super cute. Yeah, yeah. It's too bad you don't have pictures. You could show everybody.
It's
these
really
houses.
going to
It's
be a
really-
great house.
Yeah, and they're putting a lot of money into it, too.
Okay.
Are there any questions on item number 6? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 6, which is 1715 Oliver Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval.
Approval of item number 6 has been moved. Further comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 7, Mr. Ramadan.
Madam Chair, council members, 1426 Penn Avenue North. Staff recommends the sale of 1426 Penn Avenue North to PRG for its appraised value of $28,000, subject to conditions. This is another one that we saw back in January. Interestingly enough, this person thought he could just buy the property and do whatever he wanted. And when he found out that there were certain requirements and restrictions, he said, instead of signing this redevelopment contract, I don't want to go forward with this program. And so we said, okay, this is a great property, and somebody else will want it. And fortunately, we're recommending PRG to take this property. It was, again, a notification provided to Northside Residents Redevelopment Council. 1426 Penn was acquired on October 23rd, 2015 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $25,000. It was constructed in 1922 and is a 3,822 square foot, 6-bedroom, 2-bath duplex, which lost its duplex licensing. The applicant intends to rehabilitate it as a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home and to sell exclusively to an owner-occupant under the 80% area median income. The applicant proposes to invest $254,000 to rehabilitate the property, and it does meet all of our construction management staff's requirements. Are there any questions on this property?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 7? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 7, which is a land sale, 1426 Penn Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval.
Approval of item number 7 has been moved. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move to the last land sale, which is item number 8. Mr. Ramadan.
1110 Irving Avenue North. Staff recommends this be sold to Northside Home LLC for its appraised value of $55,000, subject to conditions. Again, this was sent out to our HOW nonprofit developers, and the recommendation Northside Home LLC as the purchaser was also a notification given to the Northside Residents Redevelopment Council. 110 Irving Avenue North was acquired September 15, 2016 from Hennepin County as tax forfeited land for $55,000. It was constructed in 1925 as a 1,936 square foot, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home. The applicant intends to rehabilitate it as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single-family home and to sell exclusively to an owner-occupant that meets the 80% area median income guidelines. The applicant proposes to invest $289,462 to rehabilitate the property. And CPAD's construction management staff found that it did meet all of our requirement criteria. And finally, are there any questions on this one?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ramadan on item number 8? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 8, which is a land sale at 1110 Irving Avenue North. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval.
Approval of item number 8 has been moved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 9, which is Resource Inc. refunding bonds. Ms. Shaw, welcome.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. You have before you a request to hold a public hearing and to amend and restate a city resolution. The City of Minneapolis, through the MCDA, issued revenue bonds in June of 2010 for Resource Inc. projects located in the City of Minneapolis. Resource Inc. would now like to refinance those outstanding revenue bonds and the MCDA has used its full $10 million allocation for the year of 2017. So we are requesting host approval for the City of Landfall Village to issue the revenue notes for refinancing the outstanding City of Minneapolis debt. The MCDA and City of Minneapolis authorized the host approval on April 28th of 2017. The city's resolution is invalid since a public hearing was not held. At this time, we are requesting that the council authorize the amended and restated city resolution and hold a public hearing for this project. And we do have individuals from the project here.
Are there any questions for Ms. Shaw or the applicant? Seeing none, thank you for your report. We'll open the public hearing on item number 9, which is a resolution amending a previous resolution to give host approval to the issuance of revenue obligations for the refinancing of a project for the benefit of folks doing business as Resource Inc. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move approval of item 9 with the staff recommendation.
Item number 9 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 10. Mr. Winkelhake, welcome.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members. In the report before you, staff is recommending that the City Council authorize housing improvement area financing to the Wellington Condominium project. This involves passing an ordinance that establishes the Wellington Condominium Housing Improvement Area, or HIA as it's known. Also passing a resolution that imposes fees on participating condo units in the building. Passing a resolution authorizing the issuance of HIA bonds to provide long-term financing for the project, and authorizing staff to enter into agreements with the Wellington Condo Association and Western Bank. Western Bank will be the short-term construction lender in the project. Both the ordinance and the 2 resolutions are attached to your RCA. The Wellington Condominium building is located in Ward 7 in the Loring Park neighborhood, and there's a map attached to the RCA as well. This 4.5-story building was constructed in 1910, so it's rather old. Constructed initially as an apartment building, but was converted to condo units in the 1980s. There are currently 24 units in the building. The property is in need of some major repairs and improvements, including restoration of the entire facade of the building. The RCA indicates replacement of the primary electrical system that should be changed to electrical system upgrades are needed. And then repair of the rear porch and stair system, which provides the second means of egress to the condo units in case of a fire. If the porch and stairs are not repaired, this building will likely be condemned in the next several years. So this is a major improvement that needs to happen. City staff also worked with the association's consultant to identify some energy efficient enhancements that will be added to the association's replacement reserve plan. At the moment, many of the condo units are virtually unsellable. The market values for these units range from about $100,000 up to $160,000 per unit. If the repairs and replacement are made, we would envision that the market values would increase up into the $160,000 to $220,000 range, so about a $60,000 increase on average. Based on current bids, the total project cost is approximately $1,345,000. The association has allocated this cost to each of the 24 units based on each unit's ownership interest in the property. The allocated cost ranges from about $43,000 to $80,000 per unit. The association has been unable to provide or obtain private long-term financing for the project due in part because of the high cost of the project and the lack of sufficient collateral that's actually owned by the association. That would be their reserve funds, etc. In these types of situations where there is no private financing options available, condo and townhome associations in the city of Minneapolis can apply for long-term HIA financing by the city. The Wellington Condo Association submitted an HIA financing application back in July of 2015, and they have met all the guidelines and minimum criteria that's contained in the city's HIA policy, which was adopted in February 2011 and is attached to your RCA. The city's HIA policy requires that signed petitions supporting the HIA financing must come from owners of at least 75% of the units. To date, the city has received signed petitions from the owners of 21 of the 24, so that's approximately 88%. The city has received a letter from one of the owners opposing the HIA financing. Notice of the public hearing was sent to all the condominium owners. If the HIA financing is approved, each owner will then have two options. Their first option would be to pay in cash their allocated portion of the total project cost to the association by June 30th. And they can use whatever source is at their disposal. The second option would be financing their portion of the total project cost through the HIA financing provided by the city. So there's the two options each owner will have. It's anticipated that most of the owners will choose the HIA financing option. So here's how it would all work. The city will enter into separate finance agreements with the Wellington Condominium Association and Western Bank. The basic term sheet is attached to your RCA. Western Bank then will provide a short-term construction loan to the association. Versacon Construction Company, which is the association's general contractor, will then make the necessary repairs and improvements between July and November of this year. The association will pay for these repairs with the construction loan proceeds and whatever cash they receive from if any of the condo owners decide to pay up front. When the project is complete, then the city will issue long-term general obligation bonds or perhaps a loan. Bond proceeds will be used to pay off the construction loan from Western Bank, fund a one-year debt service reserve, and pay other financing costs. The size of the bond issue will not exceed $1,520,000 as indicated in the attached bond resolution. Then, starting next year in 2018, the city will impose HIA fees on each condo unit that selected the HIA financing. The HIA fee will vary from unit to unit depending on each unit's allocated cost of the project and will range from anywhere from $4,100 to $7,800 per year. The annual fee for each unit will remain constant for 19 years. Similar to a special assessment, but it's not. It's a HIA fee. The annual HIA fee will appear on each condo unit's property tax statement, and it'll be due just like their property taxes, one half by May 15th and the other half by October 15th. Also, just like property taxes, these fees will have a first lien on the property in the case of foreclosure. The HIA fees that are collected by the city would then be used to make semi-annual bond payments. In order to account for potential delinquencies, the bonds will also be secured by 105% coverage that's built into the bond issue, the pledge of all the association's cash and other assets, and the one-year debt service reserve that will be funded by bond proceeds. So in this way, HIA bonds end up being more secure than your typical city special assessment bond. It's currently anticipated that the HIA fees will not be prepayable. So when a unit sells, the new owner will be responsible for paying the fees along with their property taxes, at least during that 19-year period until the HIA fees terminate. With that, Madam Chair, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Winkelhake on his very thorough report? Thank you. We will open the public hearing on item number 10, which is passage of an ordinance with regard to the Wellington Condominium Housing Improvement Area, the resolution imposing the improvement fees, as well as authorizing the issuance of taxable GO bonds and authorizing appropriate agreements between the Condominium Association and Wellington Bank Western Bank to facilitate the project. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Bo Beller. I'm president of the Wellington Association, and I just wanted to thank the city staff, Madam Chair, council members for considering this. When this process started, I was tall, thin, and had hair. So hopefully the end is in sight. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. I'm going to move approval. I have a few comments I want to make about this. I know the residents in this building quite well. I lived 500 steps from this building for 20 years. It was one of the only remaining historic pre-war buildings built in the neighborhood when the Loring Greenway went up, and it sits in the shadow of some of the most expensive property in the city of Minneapolis. Yet it provides affordable home ownership to 24 residents. Units that we're going to look at affordable housing trust fund units that are being built for $220,000, $250,000. Not a single unit in this building sells for even close to that, and probably won't after they get this gigantic assessment. This is financing of last resort. There's no doubt about it. And we provide the safety net. In a way, we've come in and provided where the market has failed, which is my philosophy with regard to public finance. Where the market can't come in and do what it needs to do, the city should do so. If we didn't, in fact, this building would be condemned as a public safety issue, and 24 people would lose their entire investment as well as their homes. This has been going on quite a long time. Which is probably why it seems so easy today. In many ways, I don't think this is something we should celebrate. In a way, the neighbors are caught between a rock and a hard place. Think about it. We're talking about a unit worth $110,000 that could get a $40,000 to $50,000 assessment. This isn't going to improve their property. It's going to preserve their property so that residents who want to live in ownership in downtown can afford it. So I'm somewhat surprised after being the author of this ordinance in 2011 that only 2 or 3 condos have taken advantage of it, yet on the same agenda we now have a project authorization for yet another one. So we are going to see, I think, a pattern of some conversions where improvements need to be made. It is a very high hurdle to overcome to have 3 different financing institutions reject your application. So I'm thrilled we're doing this. I think this is the role of the city to intervene where the market has failed, and in particular in a non-impacted neighborhood where home ownership is so hard to find. So with that, are there further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the staff recommendation signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. Thank you for being here today. We'll move on to item number 11. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. Today we have an application by the Sheridan Room Restaurant, which is located at 337 13th Avenue Northeast. They are seeking a permanent expansion of their premises to add a street cafe to their license, which is, they currently have an on-sale liquor license and sidewalk cafe. This is the first street cafe that we are seeing come to Minneapolis. We've had parklets operated out on the curb lane, but this will be the first street cafe that will be operated by a Minneapolis restaurant. This is part of the pilot program allowing businesses to construct a deck that conforms to the City of Minneapolis standards that can occupy a traffic lane directly in front of the business. This street cafe will be located directly in front of the Sheridan Room. It will be incorporated into their existing sidewalk cafe and have a total seating of 24 seats. The design and encroachment on our street was approved by the Public Works Department. A public hearing is required for this application. We did mail 86 notices to residents and property owners within 300 feet of today's hearing. We also notified the Sheridan Neighborhood Association and the Northeast Minneapolis River District. We received no responses for or against this application, and staff's recommendation is that the application be approved.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 11? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 11, which is an expansion of premise for the Sheridan Room. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Is there anyone here from the Sheridan Room? Come on up. Tell us a little about what you're going to do. We need a good news story.
Hello. Hello. My name is Jared Ullman. I'm one of the owners of the Sheridan Room, so we inquired about the parklet program, about finding out information about it for this season because we're familiar with seeing a few of them around town, and that's when we started the conversation about the pilot program and got information about the street cafe, and so I guess to kind of explain what we're doing, there's going to be so it's in the parking lane in front of the restaurant. There's going to be a 32-foot long, essentially a deck that goes out into the parking lane, and it goes 6 feet deep, or 6 feet deep into the parking lane, into the 8-foot lane, and there's a couple bollards for design and protection and stuff, and the existing sidewalk cafe, which was approved like in '95 or something for 16 to 20 seats, is moving to it's actually 22 seats. I think that there might have been a slight error on the application, but we've got 22 seats on it, and so it's going to be partially on the sidewalk, abutting the curb, and for 6 seats are going to be abutting the curb, and then the remaining 16 are going to be on the decking that is installed on the into the parking lane. The decking will be installed and removed seasonally. So what we're applying to do is to have it removed by October 31st, and the construction material is wood decking essentially, and we're going to store it off-site during the winter months. And
It's pretty cool.
yeah, any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Ullman? Seeing none? No, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will happily move approval of this item. I want to thank Mr. Ullman and his businesses, plural, for all the investment and work that you've been doing on 13th Avenue. I think 13th is coming alive in a major way, and it's in no small part due to your work over the long haul. And I think this is yet another great addition, adding the deck, getting rid of a parking lot and putting in a little bit of urban paradise in Northeast, and I can't wait to see it happen. So thank you.
And Councilmember Fry's motion to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 12. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application by Prize Brewing Company at 1401 West River Road. They just received their brewing and tap room license a couple cycles ago, and they are already expanding to add an outdoor patio that will accommodate an additional 46 patrons. This is in the near north neighborhood in Ward 5. The patio will be directly in front of the facility on private property facing West River Road. We notified all property owners within 300 feet of the business and the Near North Neighborhood Group and Northside Residents Redevelopment Council. We received no responses for or against the application. Staff's recommendation is that the application be approved.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 12? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 12, which is an expansion of premise for Price Brewing. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Is there anyone here from the brewery? No? Okay. Are you from the brewery? You're hiding? Get closer then. We'll close the public hearing on item number 12. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. I happily move approval of this item.
Item number 12 has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 13.
Madam Chair, we have an application by the Eaglebolt Bar, which is located at 519 Washington Avenue South. They're also doing a permanent expansion of premises to expand their outdoor patio. They currently have about 12 seats on their exterior patio. They're requesting an additional 24 for a total of 36. They will be open from 10 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. Saturday through Sunday, and Monday through Friday till 2:30 a.m., I'm sorry, and alcohol service will cease at 2 a.m. We notified all residents and property owners within 300 feet of this business of today's public hearing. We also notified the Easttown Business Partnership and the Downtown Neighborhood Association. We received no responses for or against the application. Staff finds they meet all of our requirements, and we are recommending approval.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 13? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. This is your cue on item number 13. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Come on up. Ed?
It's actually pretty simple. We've owned the Eagle for about 19 years. This is about the third time we've expanded the patio. This time we're going to do a major overhaul. There'll be stamped concrete. We're putting in a very large area of trees. It'll be very green. We're just waiting for the permit still. And as soon as we get that, we'll be ready to go. It'll be very large. I'm looking very forward to it. There'll be a non-smoking section in it. The old section will still be for the smokers. And we just want to enjoy the summer more.
It's great. Thanks for being here, Ed.
You bet.
Anyone else here to speak to this issue? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will happily move approval of this item. I want to thank Mr. Ed Hopkins and Eaglebolt Bar for their patience and their investment. I know there's been quite a bit of red tape and bureaucracy to slice through in making all this happen, and I appreciate your work. It will make a big difference over the summer on that particular block. So thank you.
On the motion by Councilmember Fry to approve the expansion of premise, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to our two remaining items, starting with item number 20, which is the 2017 Trust Fund RFP. Ms. Flack, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, before you today is the draft of the 2017 Affordable Housing Trust Fund request for proposals. There were a number of changes proposed this year that are identified in the council report, and then they're highlighted in yellow in the draft that's attached to your RCA. Real briefly, just a couple highlights on that. New this year, we're including new long-term affordability requirements. We've increased sustainability and healthy housing requirements. We've incorporated affirmative fair housing requirements, and then we've also incorporated new cost containment strategies. The document went out on March 15th for the 45-day neighborhood review, and we received no comments. At this time, staff is recommending approval of these proposed changes.
Are there any questions for Ms. Flack with regard to the report? Okay. Thank you for your report. Seeing none, I'm going to move approval of the staff recommendation along with the staff direction. And the staff direction would be to come back in one cycle with a proposal to, on a one-time basis, consider additional gap funding for projects currently caught in the pipeline as a result of the federal tax market issues, tax credit market issues. That would be a report that would come back and give us a sense of what projects are stuck, what the reason why is, and ideas for how we could prioritize projects and approximately how much money out of the trust fund we should use for this purpose.
Okay.
I know a lot of work has been done on this already. I just don't think it's ready to go today. So with this staff direction, we'll anticipate a report on what this one-time infusion into some of these projects would do in order to get them to close.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilmember Goodman.
Further comments or questions? Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to be certain we're not enabling the loss of any funds from other sources by the delay.
No.
Okay.
No. I've requested early signing on the draft, and we will still issue the RFP.
Okay.
I do believe we have the budget available to accommodate looking at how we can further some stuck projects along, and that'll be part of what we can bring back to you and let you know where we're at.
Thank you. And I'm just going to make a comment generally about sort of the affordable housing crisis that we're in right now. I mean, we know that we're likely losing 4% and 9% low-income tax credits from the state. We know that we're likely losing some form of CDBG, Community Development Block Grant funding from the federal government. And in that light, I do think it's necessary for the city to step up, and we're sort of seeing our role transition significantly in the last couple of years from simply a gap funder to dare I say, a primary funder in some instances. And you know, should we enter that sphere with care and caution? Yeah, we absolutely should, just to be certain that the every single dollar that we're issuing is going to, will build affordable housing as opposed to lining pockets. But it is something we need to be cognizant of.
Thank you, Councilmember Frye.
Thank you for your work, and thank you for staff's work, and thank you for Councilmember Goodman's work as well.
Further comments or questions with regard to the staff recommendation and the staff direction? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to our last remaining item, which is item number 21. Mr. Wilson. or
Madam
Mr.
Chair,
Fussy.
Madam Chair, this matter involves the off-sale liquor license currently held by Surdix Liquor, Inc. They are located at 303 East Hennepin Avenue. And on Sunday, March 12th, the licensee was open for business and made multiple off-sale beverages in violation of the then applicable state law and city ordinance prohibiting Sunday sales. On March 13th, 2017, the licensee was served with a notice of adverse action detailing the alleged violations. The parties have subsequently and in good faith negotiated this settlement agreement before you and jointly recommend that its adoption by the City Council in full resolution of all reference civil and administrative license enforcement matters. The agreement right now reads that the licensee will pay a $50,000 civil penalty to the City of Minneapolis before May 31st of 2017, and that the business will serve a 3-day suspension to include Sunday, July 2nd, which is the first Sunday that state liquor law will allow Sunday sales, and then Sunday, July 9th, and Sunday, July 16th. I know the applicants are with us today if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer any questions myself.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson? Seeing none, are there any questions? Is Mr. Surdick here? I wish I was, Your Honor.
Madam Chair and the council, I'm Dennis Johnson representing Surdix. Some of the shareholders are with us today. Melissa Surdick and Molly Surdick are both part owners of Surdix Liquors. I would indicate to the committee that we have gone over the proposed agreement. We've signed it and we're willing to abide by it. We understand it's something that we're willing to live with, to make sure we get paid and abide by the closings and try to move forward with our lives.
Are there any questions for Mr. Johnson? No questions for you, sir. Thank you for being here
Thank you.
today. Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to move approval of this resolution. I think that we are at the point where we've struck the right balance. You know, we're a cities of laws, and so a significant penalty is most definitely in order when those laws have been broken. But I believe that it's the decision maker that should bear the penalty, and not the employees and not the other administrators that were not part of the decision itself. So what we've done is transferred this away from having a significant number of days and put the vast majority of the issue in a penalty fee of $50,000 plus the 3 days in, I believe it's July, where they cannot open. So, you know, I do believe that this was Mr. Surdick's decision. I do not believe that it was either the employees, Melissa or Molly's, and I think that we are at the point right now where we should call this a day, bring this item to a close, strongly discourage anybody from doing something like this again, yet certainly the business should continue to operate. And so I strongly I encourage my colleagues to support this resolution.
Are there further comments or questions? Seeing none? All in favor of Councilmember Frye's motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Seeing no further business before the committee, we are adjourned.